let's go on to talk about finding good girls that won't cheat and that make good girlfriends. And this is something I've been thinking about since 2008, so a very long time. And really, I think more about finding a girlfriend than I do about having one night stands and sleeping with random girls. It does get old after a while, and there are things that I get from, a relationship that are difficult to get from being single. So I am usually looking for good girls for relationships. Even if I'm in the club, I'm looking for the girl that's probably there, because she loves dancing, and rather than trying to sleep with all the club promoters or whatever it might be. So I think about it a lot, and by now I've got an intuition. When I meet a girl, I know that she's good. The girl who I'd met yesterday, she's 21, she's only had sex with one guy, and the first time I met her, I knew she was a good girl. I just felt it. But if you're looking for a nice girl and you don't have that intuition yet, there are things that you can do or ask or look for which, when kind of summed together, they can't tell you the whole story because there are exceptions, but when summed together, it's going to give you a good idea that she's, whether she's a good girl or not. And by a good girl, I mean a girl that's not going to cheat, break your heart, or do something, completely crazy. The kind of girl that's going to be good for a relationship and even potential wife for you. I think it's good to ask in the early stages before she's thinking seriously about the future, because after she's been on 3 to 5 dates with you, she might be thinking, oh, maybe this guy can be my boyfriend. So it's actually better to ask a lot of these questions in the early stages, because she's going to give a more honest response, because she's not decided that she's thinking of you seriously yet, right? So she's not going to tell you what you want, what she thinks you want to hear. So it's good to ask about previous relationships. Is she still friends with her exes? Has she ever cheated? How long were those relationships? Why did she break up? Again, it's part of a big conversation. Maybe those questions about relationships are going to be interspersed with, your relationship history, or an edited version if your relationship history is, too scary like mine. And her, find these things out. Is she still friends with her exes? If she hates them all, it's a bad sign. If she's still friends, it's actually a good thing, because it means they broke up just because it didn't work, not because she went mental or that she did something horrible to them. Did she cheat on them is cool. You can say, what, you didn't even kiss another guy or anything like that. It's good to know, so that you know where she stands on that. She might tell you she's completely against it, and she would, if she was considering another guy, she'd always end it with the first guy and stuff like that, and that's what you'd rather hear. How long were the relationships? I've met girls that have told me 2 weeks was their longest relationship. That's an immediate huge red flag, and you should just be trying to sleep with her, not be trying to be the first guy that gets her into a serious relationship. She's probably bad. Why did they break up is good information, just to know why things went wrong, so you can think about if that might be a possibility in your relationship. You should always try and sleep with her and kiss her as quickly as possible. And my view on this, I can think of a couple of situations when I've met a girl, I'm like, wow, this girl's so beautiful, and if she's a good girl, she can be my girlfriend. And then we've gone on to have sex, like that same night, whatever, an hour, a few hours later, and it's disappointing on one hand. So it's cool in the sense that maybe she can be you're having sex with a girl, that's great, but on the other hand, it's bad because you're thinking, this girl doesn't really know me, but she's agreed to have sex with me. What does that mean? That's not really very cool. And in my view, if a girl can have sex and kiss guys easily, it means she can do that potentially in the future. She's got that in her. Yes, maybe if she's in love and whatever, she's completely different. But in a 5-10 year relationship, there are going to be times when you argue, where she's out with some friends, and you don't want her to be able to slip. For me, it's very easy for me to have sex with a girl. If my girl pissed me off and I'm in a nightclub, maybe I can go and sleep with another girl. If it was me when I was 21, I was so shit with girls, it would take me, 3 weeks of dates to kiss some girls. So I'm probably not going to have what it takes to cheat on the girl if we argued, you know, one evening and I happen to be out with friends and happen to talk to a nice, sexy girl who's up for it, as we say. So I'm kind of viewing it like that and thinking about, a girl that won't kiss for 2 weeks is probably going to be someone that will find it really hard to cheat because she's just not that free and easy with her body. Also things like getting undressed, being comfortable with her body. If she's a model, she might be comfortable undressing anyway, or a stripper, but a lot of girls, they're going to be shy about it, and that's actually a good sign. Even if they're very beautiful, they might be shy, they might want the lights down, they might want the covers and stuff, and that's cool. It means they're not used to just walking around naked and meeting new guys and getting naked straight away. See how she uses her phone. Does she have a password? Does she closely guard her photo album? Like, when she's looking for something to show you, she kind of tilts it away from you to find it and then shows you what she wants to show you. Especially as things start to progress, that can be a bad sign. Does she turn her phone away when she's texting? When you're in Facebook and it's got the list of messages from different people, do you ever see that screen, or does she always hide it from you? See how she behaves in bars and clubs. Does she enjoy getting the attention from other men? Does she kind of try and encourage it in different ways? If you leave her alone for a bit, you can try watching her from a distance. See if she's trying to get guys' attention. See if you can leave her somewhere where she's probably going to get hit on, and see how she deals with it. You want her to be ice cold, because any guy that is approaching her when you've gone is disrespecting you, and she needs to understand that when you return it could be a difficult situation. What if you come back and the guy says, "Who's this dickhead? You should be with me." She should recognize that the club is not an environment to meet new friends, and she should be able to dismiss guys quickly when they approach. This is what I want. Sometimes when I meet girls, they don't know how to do it because they're too nice and sweet, and they need a bit of training, and they need to understand kind of the psychology behind it, and then they might do it. But I've been out with girls that are just trying to make me jealous, cause problems, and whatever it is. So look out for that. Next thing, find out about her friends. Are they single? Do they act like bitches and sleep with tons of guys? Or are they good girls who don't go to clubs, who are in good relationships? Obviously, the latter is better. Find out about her family. I think a good family, whatever that is, with parents that brought her up well, is a good sign. My dad was never around. Maybe that's why I've slept with too many girls, or maybe it's nothing to do with it. But I had a great mum, and she raised me well, and a lot of the the positive things in my life have come from that, the lessons that my mum taught me when I was young. On the other hand, I meet girls sometimes who are in their teens, and they went off the rails. They started smoking and drinking at 12 years old, hanging out, until late at night, trying to sneak into clubs when they're underage. And generally, this is not good. It means that they probably, had sex early. They've done all these bad things. It's just generally not what you want when you're looking for a girlfriend. Of course, it doesn't mean that it's a complete no-no, but you have to think of all these things that it's kind of points, you're adding them up, and when there's just too many negative things, she's probably not going to be a good girl. Likewise, bad habits. Does she smoke? Does she get totally drunk? Does she become mental and sexual when she drinks? Does she say, "Oh, I forgot what happened"? Does she pass out? Is she so, useless that she needs to be carried home and put into bed, and she doesn't mind who's doing it? Does she do lots of drugs? Cocaine, definite bad one, because it goes with after parties and rich guys and, dodgy situations that you wouldn't want your girlfriend to be in. occasional marijuana, it's not too bad, but you know, regular drug habit is not really good because it generally goes with sex. So does having tattoos. A girl with tattoos probably slept with more guys than a girl without. Probably, again, this is full of generalizations, but when you add it all together, it's going to be some legit evidence. A lot of jewelry, fake hair, fake tan, fake eyelashes, fake nails. All of that stuff is, to me, a sign that she's a party girl, she's a bad girl, she likes the attention, she probably has a lot of guys after her, and she's probably had sex with more men. Does she get turned on by bad boy type guys? Does she like bad boy type guys? Does she have them in her life that were her exes? Again, sorry if you're a DJ, a club promoter, or an old rich guy. Generally, if I'm meeting a young girl, I don't want her to tell me that she knows all the DJs and club promoters, because chances are, again, in a lot of cases, these guys are all good. You know, they've probably tried to sleep with her, and she probably did sleep with them if she knows a lot of them. So, you know, does she get excited with this kind of cool guy status a little too much by fame and money? Oh my God, this minor celebrities there. You know, you don't want to hear that, especially if she's in LA or somewhere where there are a lot of celebs. It means that she would have slept with a guy just because it was, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio's uncle or something, if it turns her on that much. So best to give another red flag if that's coming up as well. Is she already sexually adventurous? You know, in the bedroom, is she kind of ready to do things that you would consider not, you know, not the usual good girl stuff? If she is, it means she's had more sexual experience. Maybe it could have been just with one guy, but in most cases it would be with multiple guys. And if she's given away too much and doing too much in the early stages when she doesn't know you so well, again, it's a bad sign. I don't really like it. It's one of those strange situations where you're doing something in the bedroom, you're having sex, and it's that mix of pleasure and disappointment. So it's quite funny. When you know her, you know, for a few hours and kind of well enough to kind of understand her facial expressions and get a read, you think, for whether she's being honest, you want to ask a tough question like, when was the last time you had sex before? If you've already had sex before me, or, you know, if you haven't had sex yet, when was the last time you had sex? I love that question because it's difficult, but it's kind of a legit question, and, you know, the girls that I've asked it have all actually given an answer, but one girl said 18 months ago, and it just set off these alarm bells, and I was sure she was lying, not because of the length of time, because I've met other girls that hadn't had sex for a long time, but I just didn't believe it at all, and I was like, well, you know, why would you lie about that, you know? And I think she lied about a couple of other things. I was asking a couple of questions along those lines. I got those warning signs, and if a girl is a liar, especially if she's a good liar, again, it's not great. It's not something you want in a long-term relationship, as a girl that's a good liar and that you know, is kind of cool with lying. So that's how to find good girls that won't cheat. Keep it in mind, and again, all of those questions, tons of stuff, but just pepper them slightly. You don't even need to use all of them. You can get quite a good read on things by just listening, not even asking questions, and asking the odd question. If you judge her when she gives these answers, she's going to be less likely to tell you the truth in future. So if she says, you know, she does drugs or something, you know, oh, you shouldn't do drugs, never do that. You say, oh, okay, you know, I've tried this or I've done that. I don't really judge people. I'm not sure, you know, how bad I think it is, but, you know, if you do, no big deal. Even if you think it's awful, it's much better to say that, because she's more likely to give you honest answers to future questions. So, you know, don't be hard on her when she does it. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. You know, how to deal with girls that have guys, and probably more importantly for that long-term relationship, for finding the special girl, my ideas on how to find good girls that won't cheat. Thanks.